Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at Rage 2. Now I'm sorry for taking a few days to get this out, but I always like to play the games quite a lot, as much as possible, and complete as much things as possible. In this case I do have the Platinum Trophy, so I would like to say that I know what I'm talking about. Now Rage 2 is a game that I feel like I didn't know that we needed or wanted, because to be honest I really didn't know that Rage 1 was even a game. I never did play Rage 1. I do know a tiny bit about it now just because of Rage 2, and I've seen some gameplay and know what Rage 1's about, but it never seemed like one of those games that I would have thought that, you know, ID Studio would, or software would have got out. But it was kind of a nice surprise, I guess, considering I didn't know anything about the first game. Anyway, unlike Rage 1, Rage 2 is actually a complete open world post-apocalyptic game, I guess you could call it. Now, there is a story. I mean, like, this game is totally about the free roam and totally about how much fun you can have, but we'll get to that in a minute, because I kind of want to just get the story section out of the way, as it is the thing that's least important in this game, I would say. The story only has 7 missions. Like, literally there's only 7 story missions. You can probably get through the story in 5-6 hours, maybe even a bit less, depends how quick you are. Like, they're still fairly normal sized missions. They're not like hour-long missions or anything like that. You can get through it quite fast, and the game isn't exactly hard unless you do put it on the hardest difficulties. On normal, it's not really that difficult. Plus the fact that you can pretty much open, like, the good thing about this game is that you can go and explore around the whole map from the get-go, and it's not a typical game where the more you advance in the story, the more the world map unlocks, or the more content you get from free roam. You can literally do everything from the get-go, and you just forget about the story if you really wanted. So I guess getting all the weapons before even starting the story, which is a possibility. Well, all the weapons except one, but you can get all the powers pretty much before the story, and already doing that, well, it makes the story even easier than it is, I guess. Yeah, like I said, the story is literally 7 missions. They're quite interesting, but I guess they have to be interesting if there's just 7. Like, it's pretty impossible to have repetitive missions if there's only 7. I mean, imagine if there was only 7 and they was repetitive. That would be quite a letdown. And there's not really much to say about the story. Like, it's just a pretty normal story, and yeah, there's no like memorable characters in there. I mean, you just don't get time to know them to get them to be memorable. I think there's like one character that maybe if the story did continue, he could be memorable, at least a bit, but it's because it's so short, like, you just don't get to know the characters or anything like that. And I think it's a bit of a shame, because maybe the story could have went a lot deeper. Obviously, if you do like go around getting all the collectibles and the data and stuff, it kind of gives you some backstory and like that, but yeah, if you go to the story, it's definitely the letdown of this game, I guess. But I mean, that's not what this game is about. But there's a story, a very short one, and that's the end of that, I guess. Now let's talk about the free roam, which is clearly the main point of this game. Now, the map is not a huge map. I mean, it is a good size. I'd probably compare it to something like Far Cry New Dawn, which, by the way, is like a $40 game and not a $70 game. $60. I think it's actually €70 game this is. So yeah, it's not huge, but I did say that the Far Cry New Dawn map was a good size, and I do say it again for this. I like that kind of size map. It's not incredibly massive, and it's not incredibly empty either, or small. And I think it's just like the right amount of stuff. I think it's more populated than like the map on Far Cry New Dawn. I'm sorry about comparing them. Like, the gameplay's nothing. The games have nothing to do with each other. It's just the map size. It kind of reminds me about Far Cry New Dawn. But this one is definitely a lot more populated than Far Cry. Anyway, so there are a lot of collectibles, a lot of different types of enemies in this world. There's a lot of different types of settlements, different objectives that you do in these settlements. By the way, I was mentioning before that Normally in games you do some story to unlock more world map. Well, on this is actually the other way around. Until you do like a specific number of side quests or side areas, just areas that you come across when you're driving about, you won't actually be able to continue the story. So that's kind of interesting as well. You can tell that the game's trying to point you in the direction of doing side things, because if not, you can't actually complete the few missions that there are. But yeah, there's different groups of enemies. Like I said, you won't really get much story about the different types of enemies. You will do a story mission, maybe one to do with each type of enemies you're going to find around the world. But if you really want backstories, you're going to have to go around collecting the hundreds of data logs and all that. Just get a bit of backstory. It's actually quite a cool backstory to a lot of things, some funny things as well. The game is a bit on the funny, weird, jokey side, I guess. Some of the Easter eggs are pretty cool as well. But anyway, the thing that really stands out, and it does it well, it was the objective of the developers, and you can tell, is the gunplay, because everything is up to you. You can do insanely good combos. You can like customize everything from like weapons, your vehicle. You can even customize like things like your grenades or different types of grenades. You can unlock abilities and then level up those abilities and then customize the abilities. You've got a character skill tree, or you've actually got like 4 different skill trees. There's just so much customization. And like, for instance, upgrading a weapon, it's not just like, oh yeah, it makes it stronger or something. Like, it is things that are noticeable. Like, it actually changed how the weapons work. Like, maybe for instance a shotgun, like instead of reloading every cartridge at once, or instead of reloading cartridge one by one, you reload just all together. Or like with the assault rifle, you get bullets back as you kill enemies, and you don't have to reload if you go on a killing spree. And it's just like things that change the game quite a lot. So they're not just like the standard customization. And if you mix all this with the cool abilities, and if you've got imagination, you can go absolutely berserk with some of the cool things like gravity darts, and you play with the enemy really. And I think that's like we said, that unless you put it on a really hard difficulty, the game isn't too hard. But I think they did this kind of on purpose, so you control the enemy, because it's all about just knocking them the hell out the way you want. It's not impossible to die, obviously, and yeah, it's quite important to upgrade your weapons and stuff, because if you get all the way like to the end of the story and you haven't upgraded much, which is quite easy to do, because if you do go straight to the story, 7 missions isn't much, and you maybe find yourself dying at the end, I guess. Now, like I said, like that's the good thing about the game. That's the strong point. The customization, the upgrades, the different type. Like, there's not many weapons on the game, but every single weapon is very unique. It's kind of like Bloodborne. If you've ever played Bloodborne, like there's not many weapons, but all of them are unique with their like alternative fire and different abilities on the weapons. And like I said, if you customize it and upgrade it, you get even more. So yeah, if you're into just having fun while shooting, then that's definitely the strong part of this game. Exploration is a pretty strong point, but we'll kind of talk about that next, because though exploration is good and there's a lot of different type of enemies, there's crafting in the game, and there's just, there's different objectives in each place, and there's races and stuff. But there is one big problem with all this, and it's such a big world that I feel like there should be more secrets and things to do. Like, this very little item types you pick up. Like, there's not unique items in this game. Like, whenever you pick up an item, is like 99% sure it's going to be an item that you've already seen in the game. Like we said, all weapons can be obtained before starting the story, except one which you get in a story mission. And after that, all you really pick up is bullets and craftables. Like, that's literally it. Like, it's fine, some of like the craftable materials are kind of like rare from certain mini bosses and stuff, but you never really seem to come across like, oh my god, look at this cool unique weapon I kind of, not even just weapon, like there are skins for the guns, but it would be nice to have like skins for the character. Though it is a first person shooter, you can sometimes see the character when you're driving a bike and stuff like that. I don't know, it just feels like is the type of world, because the world looks stunning. The world, there's like lakes, there's cool little holes, caves, bunkers. It kind of feels like a world where you could find like a little secret bunker in a house and go down and get like a really secret item, weapon, something. I don't know. Maybe this is just me being like a completionist or whatever, but I feel like as soon as you've got all the weapons, the only stuff you're going to find, like, you've never got the hope of saying, oh my god, I've found like this such cool secret, I wonder what reward I'm going to get. I think the maximum reward you're going to get if for finding a secret area is maybe a mini boss, and then you're going to get like quite a rare upgrade material for, you know, the things you've already got. The other thing about the mini bosses, now we're talking about it, they're pretty much like this 6 mini bosses, and pretty much they're all exactly the same with the exact same attacks. Maybe they changed a tiny bit, but they had a lot of possibilities in this aspect just to make the world more unique, I guess. I don't know, just too many repeated things, I guess. Yeah, but you know, that's the downside in my opinion, especially if you're into exploring and like with the hope of finding something really, really cool. There are a few kind of hidden Easter eggs in the game that are pretty cool, I would tell you that. Like there's one Easter egg that you come across this kind of shrine, and there's this little bunny, and if you stay there for a while, this chair starts spinning, and the time of the day and night cycle will go incredibly fast. It's just kind of creepy and really cool. I love those kind of Easter eggs. Things like that, they're cool, but like as far as like items you're going to pick up, you know exactly that is going to be something that you already had in the game before. By the way, the nighttime and daytime cycle in this game are incredibly long. I don't know how long they is, but like sometimes I swear to god I play this game for like hours and it's always nighttime, and then eventually it will come daytime, or always daytime and then eventually, like, it seems like the day night cycle is incredibly long. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing, it's just something that I've noticed, I guess. Lastly, let's talk about performance. All this is recorded on a PS4 and it runs absolutely fine. The only thing that did freeze for a bit was if you pick up a log, or you don't even have to pick up a log. Like if you go into your main menu and try and press R1 to go to the next tab, it takes a while, like it freezes quite badly. And there was twice where I picked up a log, like collectible, and you can like press the pause button and it will take you directly to the log to read it, and it actually crashed my PS4 twice. Not the whole PS4, but it took me out of the game onto the PS4 menu. That happened twice, so hopefully they can fix that. As far as on PC, there have been some issues, but they did just update the game to remove Denuvo, and apparently there's still issues, but I haven't played on PC, so I can't say anything firsthand. It's just what I've been reading. But yeah, all in all, it's a fun game if you really like the shooting and just like comboing and customization and upgrading and all that, and just playing with the enemy, kind of like a little playground, then this game is for you. But apart from that, if you're looking for a story or anything like that, or like really hardcore exploration, like, I'm not saying like the world's really planned out for exploration. Like there are some really cool secret little bunkers in like buildings where you go on the ground and then you find this massive underground area. That aspect's really good, but the reward isn't. Like the reward's just either a log pad, which is just going to show you some more of the backstory, or some random money or materials of something that you've already unlocked. Like I said, this 14 arcs in the game. That's where you get the weapons and abilities, but they're not really hidden or anything. That's like the only time you're going to get something unique out of the world exploration. But yeah, I probably say that it feels more like a $40 game than a €70 game. I guess that's probably $70 as well, knowing how these things work. It's a good game, but if I would have to give it a score, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think of this game in the comments, if you have played it, if you're going to buy it, if you want to wait for a sale or something. And yeah, guys, hopefully this review is helpful. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and see you next time, guys.